Hello, and welcome to the first part of my upcoming series about improving transit and active transportation on Toronto's waterfront, brought to you in partnership with the Waterfront BIA. Today, we'll be going along Toronto's downtown waterfront and through the Waterfront East LRT corridor to see the huge potential for a streetcar line on the waterfront, specifically the Waterfront East LRT project. Starting on the western side of Toronto's downtown waterfront is a mainly summer destination, with both Ontario Place and Exhibition Place hosting several events during the warmer months, most notably the CNE at Exhibition. However, changes are being made to Ontario Place, which will make it a year-round event site, and Exhibition Place already hosts some year-round conventions. Exhibition is also the current terminus of the Waterfront streetcar and will soon host a massive transit hub between the Ontario Line and GO Transit's Lakeshore Regional Rail Line. Western extensions of both the streetcar network and Ontario Line are both possible, although not guaranteed. Along with the under construction transit hub, it's likely that some sort of shuttle, maybe an aerial tram, will be built to connect the transit hub, Exhibition Place, and Ontario Place. A short walk from the streetcar is the Fort York National Historic Site, a preserved fort which played a part in the War of 1812. Also near Fort York is one of the Bentways sites under the Gardiner, which features different art pieces to make the area below the Gardiner more pleasant, and in the winter there's also an ice rink. Moving southeast to Queens Quay, the streetcar network continues to Union Station along a relatively new streetscape, which was rebuilt in the early 2010s to include a better, more people-first waterfront that focuses on active transportation. Near Bathurst and Queens Quay is Billy Bishop Airport, which serves smaller passenger jets mainly from Porter Airlines and Air Canada. At the moment, Billy Bishop offers flights to most major cities along the Northeast Coast and Great Lakes areas in both the US and Canada, including New York, Chicago, Montreal, St. John's, and many more. Billy Bishop's destinations are set to expand dramatically, with US pre-clearance coming to the airport next year, paving the way for expanded US service. The malting silos near Bathurst are also being revitalized to host several new events and activities, including an OCAD University Center and a Nuit Blanche exhibit this coming fall. Surrounding the malting silos, nearby park space is gradually being modified to add more to further brighten the waterfront, such as the Music Garden and the Terry Fox Legacy Art Project, where if you stand in just the right spot, a silhouette of Terry Fox appears. Next to the malting silos, a new park is being built, and the Canada Ireland Foundation will also have an arts and culture center on the site. Much of Queens Quay is bordered by park space on the lakeside and condos on the north side. Just south of the CN Tower is Harbourfront Center, which hosts several events, summer camps, and arts classes. Also on the Harbourfront Center site is the Power Plant Art Gallery, which features contemporary art exhibits from all over the world. Across from Harbourfront Center is Love Park, which opened last year and replaced a highway exit for the Gardiner Expressway. Rather fitting to the name, Love Park features a heart-shaped pond, more greenery, animal sculptures, and chairs, both of which are maintained by the Waterfront BIA. Diverging off of Queens Quay, the Waterfront streetcar travels under Bay Street for two underground stops, one at Queens Quay Ferry Terminal and one at Union Station. This section is planned to have a substantial rebuild, creating a quad-track terminal at Union Station with 4 platforms and a smaller but still expanded Queens Quay Station with a new entrance building closer to the ferry terminal. Steps away from Queens Quay Station is Jack Layton Ferry Terminal, which is the only access point to the Toronto Islands aside from the nearby water taxi stations. Toronto's ferries operate year-round with limited service in the winter and much more frequent high-demand service in the summer, when every ferry is usually standing room only. West of Bay Street, Toronto's downtown has mainly been low density and more industrial until very recently, with a lot of major developments transforming the area. This section of the waterfront is currently only served by buses every 10 to 20 minutes, but will hopefully be served by the Waterfront East LRT soon. Especially at George Brown College, these buses can be packed. At the intersection of Queens Quay and Yonge Street is the One Yonge development, which replaces the Toronto Star building and parking. One Yonge consists of 3 super tall towers, up to 105 stories tall, and also includes a brand new community center at the base of one of the towers. The towers are planned to include hotel space, affordable housing, and residential space. Another addition to the area will be an extension of Toronto's underground path system all the way to Queens Quay and through Sugar Wharf and other nearby developments. As part of the multi-tower Sugar Wharf project, a new elementary school is being built in the podium of one of the condos, a first for Toronto and something that makes this area more livable for families. On the south side of the intersection will be a slight rebuild of the waterfront with a new plaza and connection to the Westin Harbour Castle Hotel. Continuing east, Queens Quay is bordered by several developments that include residential, commercial, and office space. Similar to the western waterfront, this section of Queens Quay will be very similar in design once the Waterfront East LRT is built, and the street is rebuilt with more trees, improved sidewalks, and the Martin Goodman Trail. The main difference will be a significant height increase of buildings nearby and slightly more retail and office space. West of Jarvis is the Redpath Sugar Plant, which has a lot of potential for murals or other ways to further brighten this section of Queens Quay. Across from the sugar plant is Sugar Beach, an artificial beach and park facing the lake, which features a connection to the Water's Edge Promenade. Looking north from Queens Quay is the Daniels Building, which features several educational institutions including George Brown College, OCAD University, and the Université de l'Ontario Français. The site also includes housing and shops. George Brown College also occupies multiple buildings between Jarvis and Sherbourne along the waterfront. Outside of the main George Brown College building at Sherbourne is Sherbourne Commons Park, a large park space with the potential for additional retail in and around the park, and in the winter there's also an ice rink, making this a great year-round destination on the waterfront. Between Sherbourne and Parliament, several new buildings are being built and will feature both retail and residential units. I would also add that the buildings here have a much more interesting architectural style than most new mid-rise condos currently being built in Toronto, which is a big plus and likely gives the waterfront more character and liveliness. Where Queens Quay meets Parliament, Queens Quay is being relocated and extended towards Cherry Street, just south of Lakeshore. Additionally, at Cherry Street and Lakeshore, a connection of the streetcar network from the Distillery District to the waterfront will involve building a new tunnel underneath the regional rail corridor, where work for the Ontario Line and GO expansion is already taking place, including expanding the rail bridges. So to speed up construction of the Waterfront East LRT, Metrolinx could hopefully incorporate the two projects, building the streetcar tunnel and GO expansion infrastructure at the same time. Doing this would save time and money, something that's especially important when transit projects are taking longer and costs are rising. Leaving the possibility of an infill station on the Ontario Line at Cherry Street would also make a lot of sense, given the massive amount of development, park space, and destinations in the area. Villiers Island in the Portlands is the last section of the Waterfront East LRT currently being proposed and would only be roughly 1 kilometer long. As a quick overview of the project, Villiers Island, which is planned to be renamed, is a new island being built at the mouth of the Don River to prevent flooding, something that was all too common during heavy rain due to the sharp turn of the Keating Channel. The new river valley was just filled with water, and construction of the new parks is underway. With the major roadways and bridges opened, space on the roadways has been set aside for dedicated streetcar right-of-ways, similar in design to the right-of-way on Cherry Street North and Queens Quay, although grass tracks might be built for this project. Currently, meadows have been placed where the Waterfront East LRT right-of-way will be, and the Cherry North Bridge even has a separate transit bridge waiting unused for the streetcar. The other two bridges won't have transit bridges anytime soon, but they've been future-proofed, which is also why sidewalks are only present on one side of the bridges. With all of this space set aside for transit, there's no better time to build the Waterfront East LRT than right now, before thousands of residents move in and become used to driving. Not only does Villiers Island create a substantial increase in housing, shops, and jobs, but there's also been a major focus on providing a large amount of natural park space with riverfront walking trails, play spaces, lookouts, and canoe launch spots. Toronto's waterfront sorely lacks these natural features, but being connected to the streetcar would make such a natural part of the waterfront more accessible to everyone. Finally, branching off from Villiers Island, there are future proposals to extend the waterfront streetcar network farther south to Cherry Beach and east to a major development and transit hub at East Harbor and the beaches, with the latter being prioritized. At just over 5 kilometers long, Toronto's downtown waterfront is growing fast, with thousands of new homes, offices, shops, new parks, and destinations further amplifying the need for higher order transit. Unfortunately, the streetscape on Queens Quay East likely won't be improved without the LRT, so if Toronto wants to be a world class city, it needs a world class waterfront, with convenient transit, cycling, and walking options to move people as efficiently as possible. Thanks for watching, and check back in next time where we'll be talking about why the Waterfront East LRT needs to be prioritized in Toronto's near future.